Hello. Welcome back to the most ridiculous marketing podcast with your host, James Hacking. That is me, founder of Socially Powerful, with my fellow hosts, Luke. I don't know which one it is. Really there we go. Fucking got it right. And Chris, Boomtown, Harvey. Okay, it's the trio are back in the room. You had a sub replacement last week, Luke. How do you think you did?
I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else did.
You're back now. What were you doing last week? Why did you reject the podcast?
I said some baby stuff. You know what it's like. We don't, but you will.
Oh yeah,
appointments and admin, constant.
Yeah. Well, this week we're back. We're still called the most ridiculous marketing podcast. Chris looks like he's about to die.
I look like I've just come back from Boomtown.
Yeah, he has. There you go. Yeah. Boomtown is back again.
Can we get a zoom in on Chris's eyes?
I feel like it as well.
Can we get a zoom in on Chris? Just
I'd rather if you didn't, but it's going to happen, isn't it?
It's better for the content. Yeah.
Just for the so, listeners, this could be Chris's last day on Earth. So hopefully, death by hay fever.
I've lasted a whole year, no COVID, nothing. This disease like ravaged the whole world. I've been beaten by grass. Grass and pollen has beaten me.
Do you reckon anyone's ever died of hay fever? Or
yeah, there will be one.
Chris is going to be the first.
I mean, I feel like walking death.
Yeah.
From hay fever.
But look, that's commitment to the podcast. You're here. You know, we're still coming in people's ears.
Wouldn't miss it.
Still coming in people's ears. And while I say that, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the best YouTube channel on earth, which is going to be renamed soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Any ideas, guys, to what we're going to call this podcast? We had a little brainstorm the other day, but we've not really come up with anything that I feel is number one worthy yet.
Well, what we have agreed on is we chat shit, we waffle.
Yep.
So, but then we've also found that a lot of people kind of do that too.
That's the definition of a podcast.
Right? Yeah, that's fair. But they've also kind of got in there before us and, you know, labelled it as waffle.
Yeah.
Well, let's get in front of them and call it the definition podcast. Something like that, you know.
The definition podcast.
Definition podcast.
I'm not sure I like that.
No, I don't. I hate it. I don't know why I said it. I tried to be original. It was shit. Don't delete.
Well, Jermaine came up with an all right one last week. Your one this week's pretty awful. So, you know, there's a battle off for that seat now.
Hold on.
There's a battle off for that seat.
What was Jermaine's one from last
It's
week?
better than what you said.
Well, what was it?
The marketing fellas, which
shit.
is better than the definition podcast.
The waffle room.
Yeah, but that's what we were thinking of. Yeah, so look, I'm sure we are the definition of the waffle room because we've been waffling for 3.5 minutes already. So maybe that is what it should be called. But good news is the outreach for guests has started. So
exciting times.
You know, we just need to get them booked in and have consistency every single week where we've got somebody sat in the hot seat. I don't know how we're going to position the room when we have someone here, but we'll get them anyway. We're going to get them in and interrogate them.
This is the trouble with having a successful podcast. More questions.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to see how this can unfold. Going top of the charts to Spotify. Anyway, there's only one thing to talk about in the news this week because dreams have been crushed, and the 21st of June isn't happening anymore.
No, it's not. It is sad times. But it seems like it's only just sort of been extended by a few weeks. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, I don't know if you guys were out at the weekend or last week anyway in and around central London. Like, Soho, it looked like a party, like just walking around. Yeah,
a couple weeks ago I was in Soho.
Old Constant Street and stuff.
Yeah. With actually our number one fan of the podcast, Thomas Ashall. Me and him were in Soho like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. He's getting another mention this week. He's been buzzing about this.
You should be our first guest.
It was mental. It just looked like everyone was on holiday, and so I'm not really quite sure how much of a difference a few weeks are going to make at this point.
What does it actually mean for us?
What, the podcast?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
or us Londoners.
Probably the same it means for everyone else. I don't know.
You can go out to a pub. Yeah. You have to book. You can sit outside.
Same thing.
So that's all right then. Well, what's the problem?
Yeah. But I think it was like the capacity on stuff was going to be and then, so like nightclubs could open.
Yeah, but then there was football yesterday. So what was the football
Hungary,
yesterday?
60,000 people. Yeah, I just don't think they care, to be fair. Like, you know, they've completed COVID, so
yeah, they probably have. They didn't really get locked down, or they didn't have too much of a problem anyway.
No idea.
Eastern Europe.
No idea.
I mean, that's just slapping your dick on the table, going, "Yeah, complete it, mate."
Yeah. All right, go on then.
Get
out.
Talking about that just before we
Get out of the podcast.
That, though, is it? Like the people of Hungary just gone. Yeah, all right. 60,000 seat stadium. Yeah, we'll fill that. We'll leave you to do your barely half filled Wembley.
Have you seen Munya? I'm sorry if I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Munya Chihuahua. Have you seen his stuff on Instagram? The guy who makes the songs.
Yeah, the comedian.
Let me see. Hang on. Let me see if I can connect just quickly to play his last one. Hang on. Anyway, guys, you quickly talk amongst yourself while I find this. Okay, don't.
Do you reckon that's his real name?
Munya
Chihuahua.
I think it must
not
be.
Munya.
I mean, I've seen how
it's the 21st of June. But I guess it was too soon to go out raving with my crew. But at least my nan's immune.
I heard him say on LBC, baby, this time we'll be free. Should have never trusted him.
Coming in your ears.
Never had a dream. Where's your papa? The laughing man.
Boris Johnson and my Hank Carter.
The laughing man.
You never said you left, said you late.
The laughing man.
And there's more chance of England going.
Brilliant.
Munya Chihuahua featuring Chunks.
That's brilliant.
It's so
that
good.
Is brilliant.
So good. I don't really know what else is on the quick news this week. Let me just have a quick scroll through here. There was another YouTube versus TikToker fight. We're not going to talk about it. It was awful. There you go.
That was it.
Love Island's coming back, and that is why Jermaine is not on the podcast this week, because he has decided he is going on Love Island. Good. Hope you enjoy it, mate. We'll see you soon. Back in that finance role after that. Anyway,
sharp reality check. Go away for holiday. Come back again.
So
That's all it is.
the only thing happening in the world at the moment is the Euros, to be fair. So let's get into the first topic of the week. You intently look at this when I press it, don't you?
I'd like to check what you're doing, just in case I have to step into the hot seat.
do you want to press one? Come around and press one.
All right.
Come around and press.
I don't think you have the facilities for
and that is why
guy.
you don't press them. What was that like for you? You like it?
Yeah, it was nice. It's soft.
Yeah, they are soft to touch. Yeah. Chris, do you want to touch one?
Oh, you know what? I do.
Go on then.
Make sure you disconnect.
Which one's he going to go for?
Don't press the same one as me.
And we say bye-bye.
And we say bye.
And that is why Chris has got hay fever and he's going to die today. he's saying bye-bye to the world. Anyway, let's actually talk about something. We're 8 minutes in and we have waffled for 8 minutes. So Chris, you mentioned this yesterday, that Paddy Power are committing €10,000 to grassroots football in Ireland each time the Three Lions, aka England, score a goal. And they've also said they'll double it to 20k if Jack Grealish or Declan Rice find the back of the net, and they're going to call that the backstabber bonus because Jack Grealish and Declan Rice played for the under-21s for Ireland before actually committing to the country they're born in, England. So the campaign is called #SaveOurGame, and it could mean senior clubs get their leaky roofs fixed because Harry Kane found the back of the net. So what we want to do is we want to make sure England score lots of goals, so Paddy Power to fork out loads of money to support grassroots football in Ireland. Because you can imagine there's tons and tons of teams up and down the country of Ireland that have probably got little to no funding and have got many holes in their roofs. So guys, what do you think about that?
I think that's a pretty good idea. Now, how many goals England have scored, though, on the other hand?
Seems like a cop-out to me.
They've got 10k so far.
Yeah. Let's pick the team that's likely to score the minimum amount of goals in the competition other than Scotland.
I'm pretty sure Declan Rice scored maybe one goal all season last year. So,
and Southgate does not seem to rate Jack Grealish, so he's probably not going to get on the pitch, unfortunately.
So
that's the biggest story.
That's 20k from either of those players they're not getting.
Yeah, but other than that, you know, they've got 10k towards Irish football so far. How much do you reckon they're actually going to have to fork out? 100k? Do you reckon we'll score 10 goals in this tournament? We're going to slap Scotland 8-0 this week.
6 or 7-8, yeah. So that's 70, 80. Yeah,
just for the World Cup, like I think yes, we played like Panama and won 6-0, so maybe there's a bit of an asterisk there, but did still score a fair few, if I remember, probably like 10. So I think for this tournament, mate, if they get out 6, you reckon between 6 and 8 goals this year, 60 to 80k. That'd be amazing.
How far does that go though?
Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it?
A football for every team in the country or something.
Well, maybe like people have to apply, like who
who deserves it most?
Who's going to need it most? You know, like as James said, maybe the roof for their clubhouse is fallen down, or they got no showers and something like that.
Yeah, Derry City or Shamrock Rovers.
Or they've run out of Guinness. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah, the clubhouse.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
but yeah, fair play. They're getting involved. It's a typical Paddy Power type campaign where it's a little bit cheeky, a little bit funny, and the backstabber bonus is pretty. It's pretty hilarious.
I think the guy who used to do all that or started their sort of trolling stuff. I think he now works at a new property platform as their head of marketing. Yeah, so you know the guys who did Purple Bricks, they've started a new platform to rival like Rightmove. So just because Rightmove dominate that market, and he's now head of their social media stuff.
2 hours later.
Sorry, that was too informative.
That was cool.
Waffle.
So yeah, Paddy Power, big name in the world of gambling. Have you guys put any bets on the Euros?
Not on the Euros. I did
you
on.
guys have?
Did on Ascot yesterday.
Through Paddy Power?
You have put a bet on.
Bet 365.
The stake is your hair.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
But after I've said that this is after my wedding that this has to happen. I'm not gonna.
We'll see.
But I will 100% do it. I will do it. I'm not gonna bottle it out. But
You would
No bulking.
100% look like Phil Foden.
Yes.
can't wait. But it's got to be done properly. It's not going to be done with those shitty things from Tesco.
Oh, you mean
Like someone's
salon
actually
quality?
so it looks semi decent.
Well, that could be. We could film that. We could take it in there.
Yeah, look, oh, hang on. What's happened there? Keep talking. I just had...
Well, film the podcast from like a
yeah.
from a salon or something.
We'll do the podcast from the chair.
We'll get some mani pedis. It'll be great. Great day out for the lads.
I'm more than happy to do
HD
that.
Cuts.
I'm more than happy to do that, guys. But I'm still confident that Jermaine's going to be the one getting it done.
Who did he get?
I think he bet on England.
Did he?
Did he?
I think he did, didn't he?
I thought he said someone rogue.
I think we went like Portugal or something.
So what happens if none of us get it right? We all had to get it done.
You would see.
No, I think if none of us get it, it's null and void, isn't it?
I feel like...
No, okay. Luke's face like, no. We're all...
I'll be the bookie.
But you've got to get involved in this as well now. You're back in the pod. So, Luke, Luke, put your bet on who you think is going to win the Euros. And you can't pick one of the same team as we did. So I picked Germany, Chris picked France. I reckon Jermaine picked...
I thought he picked Portugal.
Maybe he did.
But I'll pick 2 then, because Portugal were pretty good yesterday.
They're not going to win it, though.
Never know. Germany was shit. France were excellent. England, I'll just say England. Fuck it. If we win, that's a double for me. If we don't, we're all getting it done.
If we don't, we're all
I tell you what, if we win, if no one wins, we'll all get our heads bicked. So
no way! No.
So we look like the Mitchell brothers, all 4 of us.
That's not happening. I'm in no way, shape, or form getting my hair bicked.
It's after the wedding. Doesn't matter.
It does. It still does.
Bick.
I've never heard that term before. To get your hair bicked.
Yeah, well, Luke needs to get his hair bicked because he's going to look like Phil Mitchell. Anyway, I guess there's not really much to talk about that other than that we hope that England score lots of goals. Jack Grealish gets on the pitch and scores lots of goals, and Paddy Power have to fork out hundreds of thousands of pounds. It'd be a shame if they don't fork out like hundreds of thousands at least.
Yeah, they should have done it for like every team in the comp. Yeah, just lowered the amount.
Yeah, but then you can't have the backstabber bonus.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
Backstabbers.
One of the funniest things that I saw from the Euros this week was when Scotland were lining up to sing the national anthem, and you've got a couple of English players in there. One of them being Scott McTominay, whose name does sound Scottish, but who is from Salford in Manchester, speaks with a Manc accent, and he was belting out Flower of Scotland. It was pretty hilarious, to be fair. I thought that was quite funny.
I mean, good on him. We've
no
seen
loyalty.
Seen the England team over the last few years, like not know a single word of the national anthem, just stand there.
Yeah,
so it
used to be Scotland's team basically was England reserves, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they've suddenly got some Scottish players in there. which probably would never get in any other team. But anyway, up the English.
It's like, actually, speaking of like players who played for completely different countries, I did see on the news this week a lad who currently plays for Blackburn.
Iran, a lad.
Yeah.
So he plays for Blackburn.
Chile, right?
Yeah,
Chile.
Like born and bred, and made his debut for Chile.
Didn't we speak about this a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I heard.
I swear you spoke about this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just you repeated the podcast, Chris.
Maybe.
Maybe
You know what,
we're that influential that you think we're now BBC
Isn't
News.
there a podcast called The Repeatables or something like that?
You know what? I'm just listening to our own podcast on loop.
Yeah.
So now I'm just remembering everything.
That's why we're getting so many hits.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Chris loves
you're
long
welcome.
walks and podcasts.
So, guys, I'm not going to talk about football straight away again because there is another football topic that I'd like to talk about. But the other one we're going in for is Jeff Bezos is Blue Origin. They auctioned their first seat on its new Shepard rocket and space capsule system this weekend. The winning price, the cool $28 million. So the flight is scheduled for July 20th, and the winner will join Jeff Bezos and his brother Mark, which is pretty cool, going to space with the boys. So here's what 28 million gets you guys. Training begins a few days before the flight with the goal of getting familiar with the space capsule. It seems pretty easy, doesn't it, this space thing? A couple of days training. So the flight lasts 10 to 12 minutes at about 250,000 feet. Shortly after liftoff, the capsule and the rocket booster separate. The capsule carries on and making it up 350,000 feet or 100 kilometers up. So, basically on the boundary of space. Pretty cool. At this point, the astronauts can unbuckle and experience weightlessness for about 3 minutes. They buckle back in and ready for descent. To be fair, it sounds a bit crap.
Nah.
20 million squids.
That will be fucking phenomenal.
The reason why I think it would be quite good is if you really, really, really want to pitch to Jeff Bezos and you've got some money to pitch an idea and, you're looking for investment and you seem to have a bit of money laying about, you're going to spend a lot of time with Jeff. It's a good time to pitch your idea. But it just seems like for that amount of money, you're only weightless for like 3 minutes. It seems a bit guff.
Yeah, but there's two things. So one would be being
or
in
astronaut.
there when yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
Well, it's
from
actually
my
two
experience.
things.
But one taking off in that thing will be fucking phenomenal. Imagine getting in a plane and taking off, and it being your first time. You're probably like, wow. But then being in a fucking space rocket, you're going at 17,000 miles an hour or whatever.
Yeah, I suppose that's pretty cool. But
then you land as well. So it's one of those ones that land. So that'll be.
If you go up, you got to come down.
No, I know, but they didn't always do that, did they?
Well, look, if I'm spending that amount of money, Luke, I want more than that.
Don't get me wrong. I don't see value in it.
I think there's better things I could spend $28 million on and do that. And as you said...
What would you spend it on?
Yeah.
Let's ask that.
Yeah, let's ask that.
Oh man, you could probably buy like a small country for 28 million quid if you wanted. Yeah. Get your own island, like absolutely like comp out like evil villain Leia style island, like in a volcano,
Batman underground caves.
Jets and shit. It goes with all of that sort of good stuff. That's exactly what I do with it. Absolutely stuff it everywhere.
Flaming entrance, so that as you land,
100%,
just explosions.
Yeah,
I just don't see that's decent for that amount of time in space.
It's a huge amount of money. I wouldn't have.
I
lost out $27.9 million is what I bid. 0.999.
Yeah, no, I offered 14, but
would you have much money left over to then pitch to Bezos afterwards?
That was roughly 27 million. 999.
To be fair though, if you've got 28 mil and you want to become mates with Jeff Bezos, it's not.
Who was it that won?
Doesn't say. They've not released who's going to be on the flight yet, so we have no idea.
Maybe it's old Elon trying to get some inside scoops on how to do it.
Imagine that would be so funny.
It'd be like, mate, I can't believe you beat me. I need to go see what you're doing.
Yeah, or he's brought his own. Yeah, don't worry, I brought my own.
That's corporate espionage, like to another level. At least like you've paid to do it. You know what I mean?
Would you like to go to space?
Yes. More than anything.
More than your newborn kid that's coming in a few weeks.
I'll take him with me.
Yeah. Chris, would you go? If you were called up?
I mean, if I got the call up, yeah. But am I bothered about going? No, not really.
I would like to experience that like weightlessness stuff, but you can just go to one of those like space places and experience
That's
it.
what I was thinking. Or like if you just did skydiving, you'd probably experience it longer than the 28 million quid.
Have you done skydive?
No, I haven't. I'd love to do
You
it
done
one
one,
day.
No.
I was on a bungee jump. That was
You
pretty
did in
sick.
that car park, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty sick though.
In a car
I wouldn't
park?
do that.
It was at the O2.
Okay.
So I think it was like 300 feet.
Yeah.
Jumped off like a big. To be fair, it was pretty crap because you were jumping into like a car park. But like the feeling of thinking your head is going to come out of your body is pretty epic. And I was hungover, gone straight away. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to experience that like space stuff. But
what would you guys spend 28 million quid on? Like if you,
I can't really mention it.
Obviously, you've lost going to space. So
All
space is a
illegal.
goner. Like you've that's off the table. Some guys beating you to it.
Yeah, it's all illegal, Chris. Probably get arrested if I mention it.
Yeah,
Well,
and I'd
what about
probably
the
chip my 28 million with James as well.
What about
Do
the
same
PG
stuff.
version?
If you get that amount of money, I don't think there is.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fair.
You are going studs up, mate. Like 2 feet. Whatever happens, happens. You know, there's no limits, baby.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think with that that amount of money, yeah, there's like you said, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah. Anyway, so when they come back down to Earth, as Luke cleverly mentioned, the capsules float down with 3 parachutes and an air cushion that makes the landing a little softer, is what it says. A little softer, so hopefully there might be some carnage.
No, see, I thought it was going to be the
the
SpaceX.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That was.
That's amazing.
That's
yeah,
insane.
I thought they were going to do that, and I thought that's the bit where I'd shit my pants.
I remember watching that video, and I obviously hadn't followed it, but it was coming down like sort of at a 90-degree angle. I was like, okay, this doesn't look good. And then suddenly, like the engines, just and it landed itself.
Yeah,
That's just insane.
It's nuts.
Like that is insane that that's even possible.
Yeah.
Like to build that is just ridiculous.
There's some good stuff because I saw the same thing, and then I watched the SpaceX promo stuff, and there's some good.
Are you
stuff.
a bit of a space guy?
Oh no, I love it. I think it's great. I'm not a space guy because I don't know anything about it, but
He's clearly a
I
space
think
guy.
we spoke about this last week. Actually, this was a deep chats in the pod about whether you think there's more than one Earth out there. Do you think there's more?
oh
than
yeah,
Earth?
definitely, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I say 100%.
Can you have you been there? Have you been there?
Well, the last time I was around the Andromeda Galaxy.
No, it would be absolutely insane if you could get on one of those rockets and go to like another place for a night out. Like imagine
Well,
that
you will in
going to Pluto, or not Pluto, but another Earth called Pluto.
6 years, Elon Musk reckons he'll have enough stuff on Mars to get people there.
Yeah, but he's also mental, so I'm not sure.
But the Mars thing, I've looked at that and it all just looks like you got to stay inside anyway. So
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
it's like a weekend in Berlin, just
Yeah,
inside
exactly,
the dark room. Anyway, let's
Bring
move
your own
on
music.
before we get even weirder. Okay, guys. Lloyd has unfortunately let us down. Have I got a boo?
2
No,
hours.
not got a boo. I thought I had a boo. Boo. I did have one on here because I remember when Dan Humphreys #Boomtown used to talk, and I used to press the boo button all the time. Annoyed him so much. Anyway, moving on into James's corner this week.
Ooh.
What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to? So you've got to be like smashed.
Ice hockey.
I was literally thinking the
Pure
same. I was
fights.
literally thinking the same thing, but I feel like that. Well, I don't know. The skating bit, like no one would be able to figure that out if you're pissed anyway.
Yeah, fucking broken ankles
Yeah.
all over the place.
Um,
Some kind of balance one. What would be? I was thinking.
I don't know. Tennis, I think, would be really funny as well.
That'd be quite good.
Because I think you just see people running around and just
Missing.
constantly missing the
Yeah.
ball. Imagine that just rocking up on centre court and you've just got a pissed Federer, Djokovic.
Yeah,
They'd
but
still
Federer
be
would
incredible.
be-
UFC would be quite good as well, I reckon. Like,
Well, a mandatory amount of alcohol is basically the local pub, isn't it, on a Friday?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's just people having a brawl outside the pub.
Yeah, it'd still be quite interesting having like a mammoth crowd and then 2 like pissed up athletes in a cage.
Yeah. Volleyball, beach volleyball from the Olympics, how that kicked off because of the females.
No,
Well, it did. Because they're all quite attractive
are they?
in bikinis. But if you put a mandatory amount of alcohol, then I could see potential in that.
What? Which bit?
Beach volleyball on alcohol.
What's like
the crowd on alcohol as well? Or they
No,
have
they're
to stay
sober.
sober.
They're sober.
Yeah, so even better.
What? Imagine world's strongest man, like
Snooker.
pissed. Snooker.
Fucking mental.
Darts would be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, they used to be pissed, didn't they? But bring it back.
What if you had like polo or something where, they're obviously trying to ride a horse, but they're pissed.
Yeah, but
they
you'd
just
have
get, like,
horses
falling
just
off.
dead all over the place.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know, they'd just be running
And
around.
we are
doing
against
their own
animal
thing.
cruelty on this podcast, Chris.
Oh, wild swing, horse's legs broken.
All right, okay.
The Office.
It's never good when you have that little chuckle just as you found a question or you found something funny.
I'll go a safe one. I'll go a safe one. What would be your superpower? Luke's crying.
He's like space.
Flight.
Yeah.
What? What did you say?
Flight.
The human pigeon. Chris, what would yours be?
No. I thought you meant what you do your pigeon impression. I was like, no, can't do that. What would be my superpower? I mean, I think invisibility would be really cool.
That's the one that everyone has to choose, but it's the paedophile one. And that's why I chuckled.
Yeah. Could you be one of
What
those?
would you do with your invisibility?
Ooh.
And this is where it gets naughty. Because either you've got to rob somewhere or stay somewhere overnight, which is naughty, or you're going to be sneaking around.
Chris is a sneaker.
Yeah,
Chris is a sneaker.
Could be a robber. See, now,
IDC, invisible DC.
I think you're a sneaker.
I feel like you've thought about this quite a lot, Luke.
Because
Like,
you
is
get
that going to
asked
be
it
your
occasionally.
original?
It's like a dinner party topic, isn't it? And I've been to 2 dinner parties.
I don't know why.
So he's now thought of his 2 superpowers. He's been to 2 dinner parties,
no, I
flight
made
or
the mistake.
invisibility. That's it.
I made the mistake of saying invisibility the first time, and I got the paedophile joke. So now it's yours.
I'll pass it on to the next person who says it.
Let's do one more. Actually, let's do one more of these because
Hey, what would be yours, James?
I don't actually know, Chris. This is
Well, that's the point.
maybe like just being able to jump really, really high, like jump on the top of a building. It'd be pretty amazing, wouldn't it? Yep. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Just for like a little bit. I could be gold medalist in the Olympics. World record of 1.9 meters.
Create
Watch
some
this.
crazy world records and then lose your powers the following day. Be like, job done. Never beaten that.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
they'll never be able to test me for it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Unlike, I don't know if we might touch on this a bit. Unlike that woman who got done for eating a burrito.
We will in a minute. We'll finish off with that. Would you rather own a horse the size of a cat or the cat the size of a mouse? I don't really like that one. Okay, hang on.
I have a tiny horse.
If you were to appoint a president of the internet, who would it be and why? There you go. That's the last one, and then we'll move on.
President of the internet.
Well, I'd say humbly, I would do the job.
you can't promote
Why
yourself.
not? Why not? I'm fairly balanced.
Yeah, but it's got to be like somebody interesting.
Better.
Yeah, something better than you.
Yeah.
I would say actually probably on like current affairs and stuff. Like Elon Musk is probably like the president.
He
of
is
the internet
basically
at
the
minute.
president.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
He's
with everything that all the sway he has for crypto, NFT, and all this sort of stuff on Twitter, and yeah, it's just mental the amount of people that just follow whatever he does. And I'm not sure I'd want to give him that title though, because I feel like that could be a bit dangerous.
Yeah. Too much
He's already
ego.
got it. He's got it in everything but name.
He's already got a Twitter account. That's all he needs. Really.
That's all he needs. Yeah.
Guys, Bitcoin is going up. Buy. Everyone buys
Dogecoin
it.
is a meme and it's happening. Buy
Yeah.
it.
What a guy.
That Welsh guy who does his own beers, he'd just be,
So just a
worthwhile
Welsh,
listening to.
a pissed Welsh bloke. He'll do a good job.
Yeah, but he's like one of that. He's like that guy.
Do you know who I thought you were going to say then? I thought you were going to say the rugby referee. What's his name?
Nigel
That's what
Nigel Owens.
That's what I thought you were going to like.
I like Nigel Owens.
Yeah,
Guy.
he'd be great actually. Yeah,
He'd actually be quite good, to be fair, as the
Yeah.
president of the internet.
Yeah.
Now listen to me.
Hands up the rock.
it's not soccer.
I am the referee. Imagine that's what happens just as you're about to tweet something. His
Now
face
he-
pops up.
Yeah.
It's like, now Elon, you can't go tweeting about all these cryptos.
Can't.
It's not good.
Good Welsh.
I think that's accidentally. We found the president of the internet. He is retired now as a referee, so maybe this is his new calling.
Yeah, just got to work out salaries and contracts.
Yeah. So Jonathan, not Jonathan, what's his name? Nigel, if you're listening, maybe
come on the podcast first of all. That'd be great.
Imagine getting him on. He'd be very good.
Let's do that.
He'd be very good.
Look at the camera and say it. Where is it? Look at the camera. Right. Neither of them are looking at me. They're looking at you.
You got looking at me, looking at you.
Right. Nigel, come on the podcast. Coming in your ears.
Okay. Yeah. We had a chance then. We had a real chance, Luke. We had a real chance of getting it
out. No, but he also had a real chance to use it, and he did. So
this is what we want.
That was my platform.
We wanted him to be on the podcast. Yeah. Like, imagine kicking off with him. Would be amazing. Like first guest.
Yeah. He's 100%. Nigel, come on the podcast.
And bring your CV for to be president of the internet.
Yeah. Bring your boots.
Bring your boots and your shin pads. And your scrum hat if you want.
Can't forget your mouth guard.
Oh God! Anyway, here we go. Let's try and maybe just cut out quite a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, just guffed. This podcast has just turned into nonsense, isn't it? What are we doing, guys?
Whiskey.
What is this?
I feel like do you know what we're doing? We're just killing time. We just come on here to kill time. That's what it is.
Get out of the office for an hour and
just
chat some shit.
I had real hopes for this, but it's just never going to go anywhere, is it? Until we get somebody on that can keep us in line.
Yeah, well, there you go. James, don't fart on the podcast.
I didn't. It was DC. DC did it.
Don't argue back.
It picked up on his mic.
I cannot take credit for that fart.
Anyway, let's move on because we've got more important things to talk about than the president of the internet. Fuck me.
Ant Middleton.
Yeah, go on. Go on. Yeah,
listen up, recruits.
Go on.
Drop and give me 20. And on the podcast.
Yeah, go on.
Or else.
No, I'm not doing it anymore.
Come on.
No, because
you got that. Right, okay.
I'll do the rest of the podcast as Ant.
Go on, yeah. Right, that's it. That's it. I'm happy with that.
Right, let's get on with it, will we?
Okay, so moving on to the next topic. Let's just end that bit with a boomtown. Big news this week. Big news. Let's hopefully talk about this in a really nice manner. Even though you're going to be talking like Ant Middleton, I'm still going to enjoy it.
Get on with it.
Okay, right. Yes, I don't know whether yesterday or the day before. Ronaldo ditching Coca-Cola. He took it down and replaced it with water. Cristiano Ronaldo has cost drinks giant Coca-Cola billions of dollars after he removed their bottles from in front of him during a press conference, instead telling people to drink water. What seemed a fairly innocuous move has sent the company's share price to a $4 billion fall, which is pretty insane. So for anyone who hasn't seen it, Ronaldo came on a press conference and in front of him there was 2 bottles of Coca-Cola and he looked at them and decided to move them out of shot or under the desk. Was it under the desk, Ant?
He took.
He moved.
No. He moved them across, didn't he? He moved them across.
Moved them across. So they're out of shot. So Coca-Cola are a headline sponsor of the Euros, and because, you know, it was a press conference, their drinks were placed where people would tend to have a drink after a press conference or during a press conference. So product placement was on point. Ronaldo's face was on point with Coca-Cola, and he decided, no, they're not going to be there. I'm drinking water instead, and told everybody, drink water. And yesterday, as I mentioned, their share price fell by $4 billion. What do you guys think of this? Was he right? Was he wrong?
Well, first of all, Evian's share price has just soared.
Yeah, good.
Evian, buy.
And this lovely Evian water.
Oh, I feel refreshed.
Yeah.
Just another guy with a very powerful face and Twitter account, isn't it? Excellent. That's all
Thanks,
I
Ant.
say about that.
Thanks, Ant.
I agree with him, though. Fuck them. No, I agree with them. They shouldn't be sponsoring stuff like that.
But are McDonald's a sponsor? They used to
but
be.
that should be a sponsor either. You don't play football and go and smack a
They
fucking
do.
Big Mac down
You
your
do.
neck. With it. Well, yeah, but you should.
You do, Luke. You do.
Yeah, and that's how I've got in the state that I'm in. But there was a time when I was an attractive young man.
Never. Chris, what do you think?
I mean,
Do you know what actually, before you continue, Chris, I think I've got
He's going to apologise for saying I wasn't ever attractive.
No, do you know what? I think I found what the podcast should be called. The Bully Cast. So
I thought you were going to say attractive young men. And that's how we got loads of
okay. Fuck's sake.
Sorry. The Bully Cast.
The Bully Cast. Bully Cast. Anyway, Chris, go on. What a waste of time this is. I really wanted to get a cut down at this, and I felt like
There's
we could.
loads in that.
Yeah, go on, Chris. What do you think? We'll chop out everything else.
he didn't. I suppose he didn't have to do it. He's obviously like one of the world's best athletes. Worked very, very hard to get where he is. I think we were chatting before we went on air. Just I think as Luke was saying, he really, really doesn't want to like him because he's big Messi fan. That's great, but like you still see him making these sort of like power moves, and it just shows how influential he is. I think he's the most followed person on Instagram in the world.
Yeah.
So he's got some serious sway right across social. But I'm quite surprised to see like how big of an effect like a move is just taking a bottle of Coke off the table, like in saying drink water, had against Coke's share prices. Like
all these things affect it,
it's not.
Chris.
I know, I get that, but I'm just surprised to see how big of an impact it had. And he has his own sort of uses Herbalife. Like he obviously speaks about.
And let's talk about that before we continue. Let's talk about that because this is what really grinds my gears.
Yeah,
that Cristiano Ronaldo is ditching Coca-Cola, but he has been a prominent face of Herbalife for many years, and Herbalife is simply a pyramid scheme that sells crap protein and supplements. And you have all these people that are on Facebook going, "Do you want to join my team and sell protein?" No, don't, mate, because it's shit, and you're going to make no money out of it. But he's a face of that. He's a face of that.
So's
It's a
Virat
joke.
Kohli as well. I think he's got.
It's a joke.
How do they get those people involved then?
Money. So if I reckon, right, if Coca-Cola had offered Ronaldo X amount of money, he would probably have taken that Coke and he'd have drank it.
Yeah, but
so everyone's
got
a price, and it's just absolutely dog shit.
Right, well, how much to eat a handful of dog shit?
How much budget have you got?
Well, $1 million. Would you eat for $1 million?
Probably not.
Well, there you go then. That's what I'm saying. They should.
Herbalife
is dog shit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So
but
there isn't always a price. He's a face big enough to attract another another brand.
Herbalife it's just shit.
Yeah,
and he is a brand ambassador of that, and he's digging Coke out when he's involved in a pyramid scheme business.
Yeah, and he's gone up and immediately down in my estimations knowing that now.
And he's also been involved in some of the worst TV ads of all time. #Shoppy. If you've ever seen this Shoppy Cristiano Ronaldo advert, oh my God, that is horrific.
I think you guys probably spoke about it.
We spoke about it before, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Shoppy the app?
I think it's a Thai brand. It's like
Southeast Asian.
I can't remember what it is, but the thing about that advert is you never know if it was purposely as bad as that to make everybody talk about it and everybody view it, which it could be.
Yeah.
But anyway, that advert's awful.
Risky strategy, isn't it? When you're in the creative room and you're going, well, what should we do? Well, let's make it fucking dreadful.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah, 100%. We should make it that bad.
Yeah, why not? But anyway, I love Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a great footballer, but it's just I don't know.
Well, do you think he had a point, like just saying, moving Coke to the side, let's not go around like what he does for Herbalife and other stuff, but saying like what he did after the game, taking literally a bottle of Coke off the table and drinking his water, like.
Chris, the thing is, right, that some people would probably enjoy a Coke after a football match. I know whenever I've exercise and fucking give my balls to boxing sessions, all I want after is sugar. So maybe I don't know if I'd have a Coke, but it'd be up
Well,
there.
what it does to kids, I think that's probably the main thing that he's talking about, right? Because if you're an adult, you make your own decisions, and who gives a fuck with a Ronaldo?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just endless debate, isn't it? About
Yeah,
if you have a Coke, your life's ended. No, it probably isn't though.
yeah,
Probably isn't.
you'll probably go round and round in circles.
There's worse things that people
Yeah.
could take than Coke.
well,
Yeah, I don't know. I just is what it is, isn't it? Is what
fair
it
play
is.
to him though. I think that's
Yeah, if he
Use your
doesn't
platform for the
like
right
it,
thing.
he's done it. He's used his platform to, share his views on the business and the drink.
Yeah.
And you should drink water instead.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
and
Everyone's
he didn't
got a
do
right
it
to
so
do
that
that.
Coke lost $4 billion. He did it because of it wasn't.
I
He
think,
probably wouldn't even know that was going to happen.
No, exactly. That's what I'm
That's the
saying.
thing.
I think, like you were saying, like, were McDonald's a sponsor? I think we may have touched on this before in another episode, but when we were talking about the Euros and the change of sponsors, because TikTok got their sponsorship like 3 or 4 months literally before the tournament, and there's been such a shift between like those sort of bigger brands like Coke, McDonald's. I think McDonald's like ran like the Olympic Village back in London 2012 and things like that. But now it's completely different with more modern brands. So you've got like Just Eat and TikTok and things like that.
Yeah.
Tons of Chinese brands,
Hisense as well. Yeah, it's
Alipay.
But it's happened before as well. Remember, the Formula One used to be sponsored by smoking brands, didn't it?
Yeah.
And snooker. Again.
Snooker, yeah. Used to
those
smoke during
brands-
the snooker, didn't they?
Yeah.
did they?
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
you could just have a fag.
On the TV, it
Yeah,
was just like a fog
cloud of smoke. On
What the guys playing?
Yeah,
in like probably
it was like
early
Benson and
in
Hedges, wasn't it?
Yeah, Benson and
Hedges.
Hedges World Open.
And the darts was like that as well. The good old days.
Yeah. Let's go back.
At the darts, they were smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
That's the
Fair play
amazing
to
thing.
What I'd
now-
like to see is all the coaches and all the subs smoking, drinking bottles of Coke, smashing Big Macs.
Do you know what one of my favourite things ever, right, is with the darts, is when they stopped, I think it was like 10 years after they stopped having drink on the stage. And it was when the BDO, the Pretty Pub Darts Championship was on BBC. And there was a player called Ted Hankey on there. And
The Count.
the Count Ted Hankey. and he was getting interviewed. I think he played well in his first round match. I think he won like 4-0. He comes off stage and the guy goes, "Ted, what's happened? How what's changed? You last year you went out in the first round. What's the difference now?" I'm not drinking as much these days. He goes, how much drinking? Oh, only about 8 pints a day now. He's like taking my training really seriously. I'm like, yeah, fucking hell. You sure you are?
Steadies the hand.
Steadies his hand. But anyway, continuing the theme of sports, which has been the theme of this whole podcast, and we need to finish soon. But let's quickly mention this. Shelby Houlihan, American middle distance runner, blames burrito for positive test. So this middle distance runner, Shelby Houlihan, has been banned from athletics for 4 years after testing positive for a prohibited substance, which she blamed on a burrito. Ah, God. This is just brilliant, isn't it? Olympian Houlihan said it may have come from eating a pork burrito, which said she could lead, which she said could lead to a false positive for nandrolone the night before a test. She's denied ever doping.
Every single person in prison is not guilty.
Give me strength. It was that pork burrito, I swear. I swear it was.
Yeah.
Like,
oh no, I didn't.
Are pigs usually juiced with nandrolone?
Don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe she's
Maybe
being
we're
100% truthful. But
it's funny though, isn't it, that all these top athletes seem to get caught and they all seem to blame it on food.
yeah, well, so I think it's just a thing that they're all doing it. And it's not even like they're all doing it illegally. Like part of improving and part of what their coaches and everything bring to the table is what supplements can you use to improve your recovery and your endurance and all that sort of stuff.
They're always trying to be like on the line, aren't they?
Exactly.
They're trying to find the stuff that's like on the line that's not illegal but is legal, that can improve people's circulation and all that sort of stuff.
Sharapova a few years ago, when she got done for it, she was having this sort of supplement, whatever. I had it for about 10 years. And then all of a sudden, I think it was at the Australian Open, they went, "Oh, you've taken this thing." And she's like, "What do you mean? I've been doing it for years." She'd be like, "Yeah, but if your management or your agent didn't send you the list that is on like the prohibited list for this year, and you still did it, technically you're guilty." So yeah, I think she ended up
with a long ban.
Ended up with quite a long ban, like 18 months.
18 months at least, yeah.
I'm looking at a picture of this Shelby Houlihan. By the way, she's 1500 meter and 500 meter record holder in the US. So
this
the
is when
US
she looks like
serious
a
athlete.
ball.
The US is a serious country for athletics. So those records, I'm probably sure they're not far off the world records. Hang on. So she ran 3 minutes 54 over 1500 meters to finish fourth at the 2019 World Championship. So she finished fourth and she was considered a leading medal contender for the Tokyo Olympics. Just by looking at her, she looks like she would juice. I'm sorry, but like she looks like she looks like she smells an Angelone.
Well, maybe this is the way to do it then. So rather than
look
having the tests and everything, and
send me in.
The sniffer dog.
Yeah.
and
You're the human pigeon, I'm the human sniffer dog.
Bring him down.
Yeah.
No, she's fine. She's fine. Definitely a druggie. Get her out. Test her.
It was like Canelo got banned for 6 months for juicy beef as well, wasn't it? Like Nangelone in his beef.
Yeah.
But typically boxers, they have 6 months off between fights, so he didn't really serve a ban, and then he was back competing at the top level.
But then they say all the people that hate Canelo because of it say that the benefits of it don't just. It's not like the 6 months and the benefits are gone. You keep the benefits.
Keep it. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like the 6 month ban that he got. It's 6 months that he'd have been off anyway.
He would have been off, yeah.
So it was more just like a forced holiday. Be like, okay, you can't train for 6 months. He's like, yeah, fine. You know what? I won my last fight.
Thanks. Let me juice a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
But I think boxing, is it boxing? I think it's boxing where you don't have to actually sign up to be tested. It's the only sport in the world where it's not like regulated. So somehow people get away with it. For big title fights you have to be, but for other things you don't have to be. Yeah. There was another fighter, what's his name? Badu Jack. He was meant to fight a couple of weeks ago, and his opponent got done for juicing like the night before the fight. He found it in his piss.
Fuck. Last
minute.
minute.
And if you look at the UFC, like back 10 years ago, when there was no testing at all, look at some of the people that were in it. Like, look at Brock Lesnar and tell me he was not.
Yeah.
Look at some of the. I think it was Wanderlei Silva. Look at him 10 years ago compared to 10 years now. He's just like scrawny.
So did that guy whose opponent obviously got done the night before the fight? Does he get an automatic buy, like a win?
He fought somebody else. I think he fought somebody else stood in last minute and he fought him.
So it wasn't like a title fight where he was fighting.
Nah, it wasn't. It was just like a 10-round fight. But
okay.
Must be old now. Badu Jack.
Yeah, but do you know what I reckon? Give all the top athletes in the world juice and see what happens.
In some ways, I agree. Yeah, unless apart from if they end up
dead,
fucking heart trouble.
I did hear some. I think it was. I can't remember which player it was. I think it may have been Crouchy or something like that, where he was talking about getting. I think it was the FA Cup final. And he got pulled over to be tested, so he could hear all his teammates celebrating in the changing room, whilst he had to go stand and pee in a cup.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
And he was like, all I wanted was just go celebrate with the team and stuff like that. But apparently they can't get you. So like in football, they can't get you until you walk down the tunnel. So if you stay on the pitch for as long as possible and just like avoiding them.
I think there was one. I think there was one as well where United won the Champions League. And there was 2 players that got pulled in, and all they could hear was their team celebrating in the change room next to them, where they're trying to get piss tested and all that. Anyway, let's just end this shambolic episode of the podcast. 50 minutes, Jesus. This definitely is.
We probably should say that we don't ever cut anything out. So we
don't cut anything else. There's no filters here, baby.
Hashtag no filter.
Do you know what, guys? When we have people on here, though, we're gonna have to learn how to behave a little bit.
Or just learn
how to
good stuff, better stuff,
probably. This is getting all our awful jokes out by the time we have actual people sat in the hot seat and we can then give them awful jokes. But anyway, I think the Wafflecast is probably a spot on title.
Yeah.
If
comment below.
Nobody's going to comment, mate.
Well, if they do.
Do you know why nobody comments? Because we waffle on for 50 minutes. And then
if you want to comment.
Yeah, but we should have said that at the start.
Yeah.
because, you know, people would
Well,
probably...
you reminded me of them at the end. I think you said it at the start. So now
remind him at the end, because nobody's got this far.
This is just the evolution of the podcast. Now we're doing double-ended.
Do you know, if you got this far, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Say Luke is a
The
space
best
cadet.
Ant Middleton impersonator
Luke
ever.
is a space cadet. Oh, anyway, so thank you very much for tuning in to the worst podcast in London, maybe the world, definitely in the UK, but soon to be the greatest on Spotify. Number 1 coming to the charts. Thank you for listening to the Waffling Podcast. No, Wafflecast. Wafflecast, that was it. Yeah. Wafflecast.